Welcome to 5 Minute Salute. I'm your host, Chris Budajas, and joining me virtually is Ian McDuffie with Amazon. I think I heard of them once or twice. Ian, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me on. This is great.
No, this is great. I appreciate you connecting with me on LinkedIn, and hey, Semper Fi. So
Hoorah.
let's tell the audience just a little bit about yourself. So where are you originally from and what you do in the Corps?
Yeah, thanks for asking. Originally from Maine, so I'm a maniac, I guess is what we call ourselves. And I went to school in New Hampshire, and then I commissioned in the Marine Corps right after college. And the Marine Corps has brought me all over the country, different countries all over the world. So yeah, I'm settled here now in Alexandria, Virginia.
That's great, man. First of all, thanks for your service to the nation. And second of all, let's dive into Amazon. We've all heard of it. We've all seen it. But watching, unfortunately, I'm that old, like pre-Amazon days to the post-Amazon days. You know, we talk about kids and, you know, they didn't have cell phones back in the day when we were growing up. And now, you know, the younger generation, they have them by some of them, but by the age that seems like 5 or 8 these days. And then we're going to have a generation real soon that will not know the world without Amazon. So let me ask this question. You transition out of the military, you're with Amazon now. What did that journey look like and why Amazon?
Yeah, good question. When I knew I was going to retire at the 20-year mark, part of that was to sustain my wife's career, a military spouse at the time, so she could have a chance to really thrive. So because of that, I did my research ahead of time, and I researched the DoD skill bridge program, specifically hiring our heroes. And I was able to get a fellowship opportunity with Hire Heroes, and I was placed with Amazon Web Services. And I did a 12-week fellowship with them. They got to test drive me. I got to test drive them. It was kind of a good match. And 12 weeks later, I was hired. I did my first 2.5 years at Amazon Web Services, and then migrated over from more of a technical role. I was a history major in college, by the way, to a non-technical role where I'm on our military affairs team today. So yeah, that's the quick version.
Man, that's excellent. And I love that you unpacked a number of things there. And I want to say it to the group just to call out, like you did Hire Heroes, the Skill Bridge program specifically. And I love what you said. They interviewed you to try you out, and you got to try them out. Because I think some of our servicemen are exiting don't realize this, that, hey, this is a two-way streak. Because I've had a couple of friends that work some very large companies, and they just realized, I thought I wanted to work for a company as big as this, and I realized I didn't want to do that. Or, hey, I thought I want to do this function in this type of company, and I realized really not my passion. So I think it's a gigantic opportunity that, you know, Skill Bridge offers our military community to do that. So I appreciate you calling that out. And so the evolutionary nature, it's funny, like I mentioned off camera, when I got out of the Marines, I worked for General Electric, and again, a very large company. And I feel, you know, and you can confirm or deny that Amazon feels the same way. They develop talent and they promote talent and they move you around in order to, you know, help the company. So military affairs, what do you do for Amazon in that space?
Yeah, so think of our military affairs team, and maybe other companies are similar. And we get asked this a lot of times. So are you a recruiter or... And I'm not. Military affairs team, our goal is to advocate for veterans and military spouses in Amazon and outside of Amazon. So broadly speaking, we kind of fall across 3 pillars. We support military hiring programs, which means we help going to different business lines and asking, hey, what is your military hiring looking like, and how can we support you? And then connecting opportunities with Amazon recruiters and outside with military communities, military transitioning service members and others outside. And then our other pillars are military retention. So we run interrogative queries. You know, why are we losing veterans and military spouses in certain business lines? And what can we do about it? So how do we better retain so they can thrive? And then finally, our community engagement side of the house. So working with communities, nonprofit organizations, the government, others to, you know, advance opportunities across, you know, outside of Amazon.
Well, you know, a couple of things. One, I applaud Amazon for investing in having an organization like yours inside their company, because not everybody does it, right? And I think those three pillars are huge. Employee retention is much cheaper than constantly going through a series of employees, from everything from hiring to getting them, onboarded, actually performing the job, and then they leave. So, retaining them is much better. And the fact that you're not even looking at the service member, but the spouse, the other half of the equation is gigantic, especially, you mentioned early on, like with your spouse and her career, we move so often. Our spouses, unfortunately, depending on what their profession is, are have to restart every single time. And now you got a company that wants to recruit and maintain you as part of that team is huge. I can only imagine return on investment for Amazon is exponential as a result of having a team like yours.
We hope so. Yeah, and you really hit on a great point too. Is not only is hiring military spouses good for readiness for how it helps keep people in the military and providing them opportunities, but that's just good for the bottom line of a business. And I think that might be one of our challenges, is that a lot of people within Amazon and other companies want to hire veterans and military spouses because they look at the patriotic. They look at it from a patriotic lens, but it's just good business sense. These are really educated, professional learners who are resourceful, adaptable, and they just make great hires.
Yeah, I love that. When I worked for General Electric, after 3 months on the job, I went to my boss, who had been a Marine Harrier mechanic back in the early '80s when the Harrier came on board. And my boss's boss had been a navigator on B-52s in Vietnam. And I asked them both, separately at a social event, like, why did you hire me, as a company grade officer coming out of the Marines? And they're like, because we know you're going to bring all the intangibles we don't know that somebody else is going to, either from another company or out of academia, is going to bring. You're going to be dependable. You're going to show up at the right place, in the right uniform, so to speak, with the right attitude. You're going to treat people with kindness, and then you're going to ensure the mission gets done. And if not, you're going to work extra hours, as appropriate to ensure that we get to mission completion. And you're take initiative where others will wait for additional guidance. You will move out appropriately. And I can only imagine for Amazon, that's critical what you guys do, because I watched the company just in my own neighborhood, just to do what you do at the magnitude and the speed. You have to have a lot of go-getters who are willing to, believe in the mission and want to get it done. So in our veterans community, I think it's a huge opportunity to do that. And I think recently I read an article that Amazon was trying to hire 100,000 veterans and service or spouses in a very less than a year, right? And didn't they meet that goal?
It was a 3-year pledge. So
okay.
we, in June of 2020 or July of 2021, we committed as an extension of the Joining Forces Pledge, which we originally made in 2016, to hire 25,000 veterans within 5 years. We exceeded that, and then we quadrupled that by committing to hire 100,000 veterans in 3 years. So we had until June of 2024 to meet that goal, and we passed it in February of 2024. 100,000 veterans and military spouses.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It is not lost on me when I look at how many, the military alone how many people they have to recruit annually in order to fill the numbers of folks leaving. You guys,
that's right.
That is no small lift right there. So, Ian, if I'm a veteran, or hey, I'm active duty service member or spouse, and I'm listening to this interview, why do I want to come work for Amazon?
Yeah. First of all, you kind of nailed it earlier. Like, we are a big company. We have a lot of opportunities to move around. And when I was evaluating coming to Amazon as I was doing SkillBridge, I was looking at it, a couple companies, and I was like, you know what, this is a chance to move around and try different things. I think I'm technically on my 4th role within Amazon. This is my happiest role, by the way. So you've got a tremendous opportunity to try different things, go to different places, work with different teams, and grow. And I think I've grown tremendously just with that exposure.
That's huge. And so with our with the company, I no doubt you guys are scaling and moving forward. with the military folks coming on board, being part of this team, they're going to see opportunities they continue to grow within the organization. And if not, I feel like, hey, you're going to leave the organization a better version of yourself to move into other, if that's either a personal venture or other opportunities in the market. So that's huge. I know folks know where to find Amazon on Amazon.com because it's that time of year to go shopping. But for our military veterans and spouses that are looking for more information, how do they find that information?
Yeah, Amazon.jobs. So we have, and I'm happy to send out to the producers if you want to attach a QR code or something after this. We have a full sheet of QR codes, as a matter of fact. But we have specific Amazon.jobs military hiring page, and it can take you to fellowship opportunities, a whole host of resources for them.
No, that's great. We'll definitely do that. We'll take that and we'll put it in our show notes. We'll put your information in our show notes so folks can connect and ask you, go direct to you and ask you questions and kind of push right into that information. When I left the military the first time on my break in service, the opportunity to work with a large company, people are like, what's the difference between, corporate America and the military? Specifically, I was working for GE. I said, well, there were so many parallels that I saw within the organizations, just different missions, different reasons, but I see the same thing here with Amazon. If you want to be part of a great team, especially if you want to move up the business ladder, so to speak, great opportunities to as you perform to get better and learn a lot about a company, whether you choose to continue to work in corporate America or venture off on your own. I think you'll leave as a better version of yourself to be prepared for business. So thanks again, Ian. I appreciate you taking the time. Any last words for the audience?
Just as a veteran, and I think you nailed this, Chris. I appreciate you use the word kindness with what veterans bring to companies. And I see that a lot. Veterans are always paying it forward to other veterans. And as you know, kindness and paying it forward not only pays the recipient, but it pays the giver. And that's such an important thing. So always be kind, be involved, be positive, volunteer. And that's a great thing to do no matter what company you're at.
No. Hey, Ian, thanks a lot for your service to the nation, to the Marine Corps, and all you did to keep our nation safe. By you doing that, we can do this here. And I appreciate you taking that time to tell your story or your journey and what you've done and what you're doing now. And I really applaud you for how you're helping our military community in their next journey of their life. So thank you.
That's very kind. Thank you for having me. It was my pleasure.
Yes, sir. We'll have you on. We'll bring you back next summer, talk about where you're at now and where we're going.
It sounds good.
Yes, sir. All right, folks. Hey, you like what you heard? Please share us. Connect with Ian and myself on LinkedIn. Hey, Amazon, a great organization. No doubt. We've all heard of them. If you're a military veteran, a spouse or active duty military member or a spouse, and you're looking for great employment with an organization that is taking care of our nation, please take a look at our show notes and take a look at what they're doing and where they're going and potential opportunities for you as you take a look at what you're doing with your life. We'll see you our next segment on Live with Gratitude.